We'll start with best bets. And as we like to normally do, Sean Zerillo, throughout the baseball season this year, opening pitch, his new column, his daily column will be available on the Action Network app, actionnetwork.com. What jumps out to you on the slate today for a best bet?
I was prepared to say a rare 15-game Monday slate, but it looks like we have 15-game Monday slates for at least the next 2 Mondays. So typically an off day, getaway day where teams are traveling to different cities, but we are getting a loaded 15-game slate and a lot of potential options for where to go. But my favorite bet is the Baltimore Orioles, particularly on the full game money line, but I like them in both halves. You could play their first 5 money line to plus 116. Their full game money line just a bit lower to plus 113 is where I would set my cutoff price target. A lot of this matchup comes down to how close you project Kyle Bradish and Jon Gray. Because in terms of the bullpens, the defenses for the two teams, see those as relative washes. The Orioles are the better team against right-handed pitching. The Rangers are a better team against left-handed pitching. So the Orioles getting the better of the splits on both ends of the offensive and pitching matchups. So slight edge for Baltimore there. Home field advantage for Texas. Everything else comes down to the two starting pitchers. Jon Gray, 3.7 expected ERA last season. Kyle Bradish, 4.5 in his rookie year. But in terms of how I project these pitchers for 2023, I have them relatively comparable. Bradish, 4-pitch guy, massive potential. Sort of come down to how quickly and how well he refines his command of that 4-pitch arsenal. But he has multiple above average offerings. I view him as a pretty comparable pitcher to Jon Gray heading into his sophomore season. So I projected the Orioles around a pick 'em price in this matchup. As I said, I like them down to plus 116 for the first 5, plus 113 for the full game. But they are my favorite bet and my largest projected edge for Monday's slate. There's some other underdogs we'll get to, but the Orioles probably my favorite.
And Bradish, looking back at the end of 2022, he finished stronger than he had started the year against some pretty quality teams in the American League. Cleveland, Toronto, Houston finished up well against the Yankees. I will ask you, because I saw you put this in the app, the Action app ahead of time, and you got a way better number. It's at a lot of places 112, it's hovering in that 112, 115 range. Is that okay with you, or do you change a unit size based on how you go about it?
Yeah, I would just reduce the unit size slightly. So I put 3/4 of a unit on it. The numbers I got, which was above plus 130. I believe I said below plus 125 or something like that to reduce your unit size. So if it's an edge greater than about 4% for me, I'll bump up my bets a little bit. If it's between that 2%, 4% mark, I'll generally just stick a half unit on it. So that's why you'll see my unit sizes fluctuate ever so slightly. But yeah, in that plus 115 range, it would just be closer to a normal half unit bet for me.
Okay, very good. BJ, what do you got for this big Monday slate?
Yeah, I like the Diamondbacks for the first 5 innings. Best numbers plus 115, which you can find at BetMGM. Ryan Weathers is going to be on the mound for the Padres. He pitched 3 2/3 innings in the big leagues last season because he spent a majority of the time in AAA after he had not a very good 2021 season, over a 5 xERA. But let me read off his numbers in AAA to you, Brendan, here really quick.
Please do.
And he had a 6.54 xFIP, a 4.17 walk per 9 rate, a 2.27 home run per 9 rate, and opposing hitters had a 325 average against him. And that was over 123 inning sample size. So he is a very, very below average pitcher. I'm not really sure why he's in the rotation here. The Diamondbacks were bad overall against lefties last season, but against left-handed fastballs, sliders, and changeups, which are Weathers' 3 only pitches, they did have a 250 expected batting average and 330 expected weighted on base average, which is somewhere around the major league average. Ryan Nelson's going to be on the mound for the Diamondbacks. He was really good in 3 starts in the big leagues towards the end of last season. Went 18 innings, 2.24 xERA, 2.34 expected weighted on base average allowed. He's a heavy fastball pitcher. And that's not really a big worry against the Padres because last season they were near the bottom of Major League Baseball against fastballs, minus 21.9 run value, and especially against right-handed fastballs. They only had a 239 expected batting average and 328 expected weighted on base average. So I'm not sure how long Weathers is going to go. He might only see the lineup one time, and they might just get him out of there. But given how bad his numbers were in AAA, and the fact that Nelson's ERA, if you look at a lot of projection models, projects about a half run lower, I don't think there's any reason why the Diamondbacks should be sitting at this high of a dog. So I like them for the first 5 innings at plus 115.
So can you explain to me why they're doing this? Like, I know Darvish is hurt. or pardon me, Musgrove's hurt. Why are they doing this game 4 into the year, 3 into the year?
That might be a question for Sean Zerillo because I am not sure, honestly.
All right. I know it's a long season. They're 2-2, but it's early. Why are they pitching this guy? He's not even listed in their rotation. They're already doing the bullpen day thing.
I guess so.
Yeah. So definitely the Musgrove injury. He's also 23 years old, former first-round pick. So they see something there, right? But they brought him up 2 years ago when their pitching completely fell apart. They had to stick him on the 40-man roster. I haven't looked at their 40-man. I'm not sure what other starting pitching depth they have, but I would imagine it just comes down to he's already on their 40-man roster. They don't want to add somebody else to the 40-man roster, so he's available, and they probably only need him to start once. It seems like Musgrove is progressing pretty quickly. So I'd imagine Weathers is just going to get the one start, maybe a second one, and then get sent down and replaced by Musgrove. But yeah, probably just comes down to them not wanting to add another player to tie up their 40-man roster, and they're just using what they have available.
Gotcha.
Your best ability is your availability, Brendan.
Yes.
Padres coming into the year, 6-man rotation was the plan. They call, just reading up in the San Diego Union Tribune, that Weathers is considered as one of the leading candidates of what would be called the next 6. So the next 6. That's what BJ is fading today with the D-backs for the first.
You know, and I think they would hope too that they can get him enough innings this year, right, where they may be able to develop something to the point where come playoff time, not going to be necessary in the rotation, but maybe he's a bullpen fireman and can turn over a lineup once as a lefty. So you see a lot of these teams, the Cardinals, they bring up young pitchers through their bullpen, try to work on stuff, but it's really just about getting guys innings so they're ready for the end of the season. The Padres, we talked about, they're a very safe team to make the playoffs, just given the talent level they have. They should make the playoffs more than 80% of the time. So getting their guys ready for the end of the season is part of their player development strategy in season.
That's fair. Oh, I hear you. I wish the young man luck. I just couldn't believe to see, like, they have all these names they acquired in the offseason and they're going to this kid in the first run through the rotation.